All right, guys, it's that time again. Another assignment with SDI. It's actually the last assignment for this course. The last assignment for every course is usually the best one. It's the most hands-on. You take everything that you learned in the course and apply it. So, to learn more about SDI, I'll put a link in the description down below. They teach about guns, gunsmithing, troubleshooting guns, optics, all the good stuff. So this is gonna be kind of a long video, so I'm gonna try to keep the dialogue down to a minimum. But first things first, we're just gonna go over the equipment I'm gonna be using and the equipment I'm gonna be working on. So today I'm actually gonna be doing a trigger swap at the same time of accomplishing this assignment. This is the star of the show here. It's a Palmetto State Armory build kit. The lower receiver is from KE Arms. They're out of Arizona. I call this the Demolition rifle because I bought it from Matt from Demolition Ranch. And essentially what I'm doing today is doing a detail strip as well as a detail assembly, I guess. And I'm taking this trigger and putting it in this rifle. And I'm taking this trigger and putting it in this rifle. So this is like a Palmetto State Armory stock trigger. This one is a Timney trigger. I think it's called the Timney Impact. It's got about 2.5 pound trigger pull. Tools, good stuff. All right, so I try to get everything out that I think I'm gonna be using. I'm probably gonna be digging around a little bit. Right now, I got the punches out. I actually have punches in this real Avid kit too, but these are brand new. I got these from SDI and they're nice and shiny, so I'm gonna use those. I got two hammers. This one also came from SDI. It's nice and shiny, brand new. Hopefully I don't have to mar it up, we'll see. This hammer came with that real Avid kit. I'll put a link in the description down below for that also. It's really awesome. Now this hammer is brass and plastic. This hammer, you have the option to put brass, plastic, or rubber on it. So since this one doesn't have rubber, put the rubber on this one. This one also acts as an armorer's wrench too. So if you're doing barrels and stuff, which we won't be doing today because I don't have any C's. The bench block. This guy's awesome. I kind of wish I had like the standard round one that you see on gunsmithing videos all the time, but this one works awesome. It's actually magnetic. So you got a place for small parts there. And it's got all these different cutouts for your lower receiver and the bolt and stuff. It's awesome. So this guy right here comes in very handy. It's kind of hard to explain into words what it does, so I'll just have to demonstrate it in the video. Any other tools I didn't just mention, it'll probably be revealed in the video. So with that being said, let's carry on. So to start out, we have to make the gun safe, right? No live ammunition in the workspace. As far as right now, outside of the guns, there's no live ammunition here. I don't keep live ammunition in my workspace. Next, we have to clear the guns. We're going to be working on 2 guns today, so we're clearing 2 guns. We'll start with this one. Make sure it's on safe. Now we're going to remove the feed source. It's already gone. I don't have that here. And then you're going to charge it. That would take anything out of the chamber if there was something there. And then we lock it up. Put it on safe. The hammer's not cocked, so it's not going to go on safe. Next, we're going to remove the feed source. Not here. Charge it. Clear the chamber, and then lock it back. Physical and visual inspection. Physical and visual inspection. Now we shall proceed. So basically we're going to start with a basic field strip. To me, a field strip also includes disassembling the bolt carrier group. As you saw in my last video, that was supposed to be a field strip. So in my last video, it was supposed to be a field strip, but I accidentally went ahead and stripped the bolt carrier group also, which is technically by the book part of detail strip. That video is gonna have a little bit more detail on how to disassemble this. So I actually ran out of anti-seize on my last build, so I'm going to be skipping out on removing the barrel. I might as well go ahead and remove the handguard. So we ran into a little hiccup here. As you can see, the M-lock fastener for this forward grip here won't clear the flash can there. So we would have to take these off to get the handguard off. But essentially, it's for training purposes. With this particular handguard, you have these 2 locking fasteners that go into the barrel nut. You can actually see the recess in the barrel nut there, right inside that hole. And then these 2 are actually what clamp it onto the barrel nut. And once those are loosened up, it comes loose like that. Now it's just stopping now because of that M-lock fastener. So now that we have this handguard back installed, we're gonna set this aside because we're not gonna further disassemble this. So essentially, I'm gonna be bringing this lower receiver back to factory condition that I got it in. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the grip. I actually missed a step. Part of the field stripping, which I should have completed before doing the detail strip, is removing the buffer and the buffer spring. Safety selector comes out automatically after you take the grip off. Next thing I want to take out is the trigger. Now the next thing I want to disassemble is the trigger group or the fire control group. That resides all up in there. These mil-spec ones are multiple parts and there's springs in there holding them together. Geisley actually has some that are also like that. Alright, now I've set up the lower receiver on the vise, and the next thing you're going to be removing is this mag release mag catch, alright? Now, this is one of those parts that when you're taking it off, stuff goes flying. Now normally, next I would remove the buffer tube, and the way you do that is you grab your armorer's wrench, and these notches here fit in on that, just like that. This is how I usually use this one, and then you can break torque on it. However, if I do that, I'll have to restake this washer right here. If I have two spots in here where it's staked, like the previous staking and then the next staking, it's just gonna look like trash, so we're not gonna remove this today. But basically what that would do is when you take this off, it'll free up the detent and detent spring that's holding this takedown pin. And you would also be able to take out the buffer retaining pin and spring. I do want to show you how to use this, so we'll go ahead and take the front takedown pin out. All right, so the front takedown pin. This guy can be a little tricky, but with that little gadget that I have, it's pretty awesome getting it back in. Now it's held in by a detent spring and a detent pin that's inside the receiver in this part right here, and it's pushing out against this. So there's a hole right here in the takedown pin, and you're gonna take your skinniest punch, and what you're gonna do is when you're pressing in on that, it's gonna press in on that detent pin, compressing the spring. Now that spring is under pressure and it's disengaging from the takedown pin. Looks like that spring wants to stay in there, which I am not complaining about, because that is not a part that I would want to lose. So essentially, that sums up the detail stripping for the purpose of this video. I didn't want to strip it down more than beyond reason. After all, I'm really just swapping a trigger and maybe a little extra for the purpose of this assignment. I really just wanted to demonstrate craftsmanship and good gunsmithing etiquette and my familiarization with this platform. As you can see here, I got the bigger parts setting on their own. I didn't put the firing pin with the other small parts because I really want this to remain in spec. I got all the small parts here. I have this cool little tool with the front takedown pin because that's what you use it with. Then you have a trigger group here, which is actually going in the demolition gun. And then I have bolt catch and the bolt release. Now I have the grip here with all the corresponding parts in it. And then I have the stripped lower, buffer tube still attached, and the complete upper still. Now, before we put this guy back together, we need to get the new trigger that's going to go in it out of this guy. Now, this actually works out perfectly for the video because I can show how to remove and install two different kinds of triggers. Now, this one's a drop-in trigger. Now, these things can be pain, but if you have a good amount of patience and you know how to do it, then it should be a smooth operation. Now, I already got the grip removed off of this guy. However, normally the safety selector switch would come out after you take the grip out, but with this drop-in trigger, there are hex screws here and here that after you put the roll pins in to keep it in place, you thread those down in, and what that does is it pushes up on the whole trigger group, keeping the roll pins tight, and that prevents them from walking out. So when it does that, that ledge that the safety selector also sits on is also raised, so that's why it can't clear it. So what we need to do is we need to back those pins out so the trigger can sit lower, and then we can remove this guy. It's kind of a crappy view. It's the best I could do, but we're gonna go ahead and dive into that. All right, so we got this guy here. I already got the back out guard screws out. Now we're gonna back these guys out so it can sit in there flush. All right, so now that I got the trigger in, before we push down on those tension screws, we wanna get the safety selector switch in, because once we increase tension on that drop-in trigger, we won't be able to get this in. There we go. Now we can start twisting these down. All right, so I finally got that trigger in. I had to cut out the camera to save battery, but these drop-in triggers are always kind of a wild ride. Now we're gonna throw the grip on. All right, so get all our parts out. All right, so now I'm gonna do the bolt catch. I already got the roll pin started. Now to finish it off, we'll just throw the buffer spring in, assemble the bolt carrier group, and mate it back together. All right, so we still have to put the mil-spec trigger back in the demolition rifle. These can be a headache. Once you do enough of them, kind of becomes second nature. This first roll pin is going to go through the trigger and the disconnector. All right, now to retain that safety selector switch, we're going to install the grip. Safety, feed source, clear the chamber, lock it open, good to go. Safety, feed source, clear the chamber, lock it open. Good to go. So I gotta be totally honest with you. Filming while working on guns is a an entirely different ball game for me. I get a much more chaotic vibe when I'm trying to do both at the same time, but hope this video turns out well. I guess we'll see. Chances are probably gonna do a remake of this video just so it's actually good enough for public content. This one will probably be up for as long as this class goes on. But after that long adventure, stay strapped, stay safe. Peace.